Hey everyone, today I'll be showing you how to transform your braiding hair into this beautiful custom brown and blonde mix. This blend looks absolutely stunning and it's perfect if you're looking to try a new color for your braids. So let's get right into the tutorial. So for this style, I'm using the Expression pre-stretched 38-inch hair with 4 bundles in a pack. And I bought 2 packs of the color 4, 1 pack of the color 30, and also 1 pack of the color 27. Now to mix the hair, I'm taking 2 bundles of the color 4, and I'm going to add 1 bundle of the color 30 and also 1 bundle of the color 27. So in other words, this mixture is 2 parts color 4, 1 part 27 and 1 part 30. Then next, I'm just placing each color on top of each other like this. And all we're going to do is split the hair in half, making sure to pull really hard to separate it properly. Then place one half on top of the other and just repeat this over and over and over. So again, you'll split the hair in half. Make sure to take your time so you can do this neatly and place one bundle on top of the other and then just repeat. Now, this is a very tedious process. You are going to be splitting that hair over and over and over again, but it is so worth it in the end. And my tip for this is to make sure that you are gripping onto that hair very tightly so that you can limit the amount of shed hair, because you will need to detangle the hair as you go along. And if you're not gripping it tightly, then you're going to lose so much hair in the process. And you can also use a brush here to help you detangle it, but I don't know, I just like to use my fingers. So as you can see, I just continue splitting the hair, and over time, you'll see the colors starting to blend together. Now, if you're a beginner, then you might want to work with half the amount of hair at a time, because this can get really messy if you're not careful. And if it's too hard to grip all of this hair, then just use half the amount of hair that I did for each color. Also, as I'm detangling the hair, something that I like to do is I will feel where some hairs are starting to slip out at the bottom, and I'll just pull it out and place it right back into the bundle so I can save as much hair as possible. And sometimes the ends might start to look a little straggly, so you can just take some scissors and trim away those ends so it can look nice and neat. And just continue on splitting that hair, girl, over and over and over. Now, when you watch videos of people doing this, it looks like something that can be done in like 10 minutes, right? But no, I spent about 45 minutes mixing just this bundle, and I did 3 bundles in total. So make sure that you're giving yourself enough time to do this. Trust me, it is not a quick process. Also, when you get closer to the end, you'll notice there might be more of one color concentrated in an area. So you can go in and focus on separating that specific area until the colors are evenly blended. So in total, this took me about 2.5 hours to do. I highly recommend mixing your hair the day before you actually do your braids, because this can be really time consuming and a tiring process. So once you're done mixing, this is what it should look like. The sun was setting, so I couldn't fully capture the color here, but I'll show you what it was looking like the next day in the light. So as you can see here, the colors are all blended together. You can see those blonde highlights coming through. I just love it so much. And like I mentioned, I have 3 bundles of this, and it was just enough to cover my whole head. All right, now we can move on to my least favorite part of doing my braids. I'm parting all of my rows first. Parting sucks, but we just have to do it. So I like to use a 3-way mirror that I got from Amazon, and I take my time parting each row, and then I cornrow it down to keep it out of the way. This is something that I would also recommend doing the day before you actually do your braids, because it is time consuming again. It took me about 2.5 to 3 hours to finish my parting, but I like to get this out of the way so that when I'm braiding my hair, it can be much more efficient, right? So this is what my rows were looking like. Some rows were a little bit uneven, okay, but we made it work. Okay, so now we're ready to braid. And again, this is what the hair was looking like. For some reason, it's showing a lot more blonde on camera. It's definitely more of a brownish blend. But anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and separate a few small pieces to get started. And the first thing we can do is take down that first row in the back and make our first little part for our braid. Now, as usual, I like to do a traditional box braid. So to start off, I separate a small piece of the hair into 2, where one piece is smaller than the other. Then I take the smaller piece and loop it around the bigger piece to make 3 strands just like this. Then to start my braid, I always flip the hair over my head like this to get my hands in the right position. And what I do is I'm pinching my natural hair and sliding my pointer fingers through. I'm gripping a little bit of my hair and braiding it in with the braiding hair. It's a little difficult to explain, but as you can see, I just continue sliding my pointer finger through and braiding it all together. And so after doing that a few times to secure the root, I switched to braiding underhand so it's a little bit easier. And then all you need to do is continue braiding all the way down. And I actually didn't use any gel this time when I was doing my hair because I just didn't really feel like it. And I don't care about having super clean parts. So yeah, all I did was just continue braiding down. And then you can put your hair in between your teeth like I did here. This just helps you to hold the hair better, especially when you're getting closer to the ends. And then we can just repeat this all over our head. So let me show you guys again. I'm taking a small piece of the braiding hair, separating it into 2 uneven pieces and crossing that smaller piece over the bigger piece to make 3 strands. Then I'm flipping that hair over my head like this and using my pointer fingers to slide through my hair, grip the braiding hair, and braid it in with my natural hair. And then we can just continue braiding all the way down. Also, in the next 2 clips, I'll show you how I braided down the ends to get that feathered look because I just wanted a straight, sleek look for my braids this time. But you can see once I put those 2 braids in my head, I was already starting to feel myself and I could envision how the look was going to come out. I was so excited for this hairstyle. So let me show you guys how to do this again from this angle here. This was actually the next day, so I did about half of my hair on one day and half the hair the next day. So again, we're taking a small piece of the braiding hair, and as you can see, I like to slide my pointer fingers through, grip some of my natural hair with the braiding hair, and braid it all together. Then once that root is secure, I just continue braiding all the way down, and this is where you can see at the bottom, I wanted that straight feathered look to the ends, right? So I actually didn't braid it all the way down because I knew I was going to dip the hair anyways, so I just saved myself some time by leaving the ends out, and then once I dip the hair, it'll give me that straight look. And here we are, we made it to the final braid, you guys. I was so happy. Reaching that last braid always feels so rewarding. Now the top section of my hair is much thicker than the rest of my hair, so I'm using a very small piece of the braiding hair to make sure that the braids aren't too bulky at the top. And so I'm just doing that same technique to get the braid started. And then what I did here was I added in some small pieces of the braiding hair so that I have the right thickness and length throughout the braid. So to add in some hair, all I'm doing is lining up a small piece with the middle and outer strands of the braid, and I just continue braiding down like normal. I didn't really do a good job of showing it here, but I'm just adding in some pieces to make sure that I get the right thickness and length. So here I am finishing off that last braid, and I was so excited. This is what it was looking like before I dipped my hair. I don't like my braids to be too heavy and bulky, so I used very little braiding hair for each braid, and you can see how lightweight the hair came out in the end. This took me about 15 hours to do, guys. So yeah, I was very excited to be done, and now all that's left to do is the finishing touches. So onto the hot water. I like to take 2 of these big mugs and I just fill it up with some hot water. Shout out to Mandarin for these random mugs that my family has had forever. They work perfectly for when I'm dipping my hair. So I just dip the ends and I use a towel to really squeeze out all of that water. And I like to do this in small sections. If you're doing this yourself, please just work in small sections and take your time so you don't burn yourself. And I'm just repeating this all over my hair until I'm done. And as you can see, once I dip the ends, they look so much more smooth and I get that straight feathered look, which is what I was going for. Then for the top of my hair, I like to dip a towel in the hot water and I just carefully run it over the top of my head. And I also kind of squeeze it in, but be careful here because I don't really know how I don't burn myself, but this is how I've always done it. So I'm just kind of used to it now. And then you can also take some mousse, of course, to help lay everything down. This is always the best part. And I just put that all throughout my hair to give it a nice shine. And this was pretty much the final look, you guys. Of course, I had to come back with my makeup done and everything, and this is what it was looking like. I absolutely love the way the color came out. Trust me, creating your own braiding hair blend is just so worth it. It's so beautiful, and I plan on keeping this in for a good 2 to 3 months. So let me know if you guys enjoyed today's tutorial. I hope it was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.